So I am Natasha Gideon. My property page is Mary Joel Condo on Instagram, and so I'm a full-time real estate negotiator. I do residential properties, so buying, selling, rentals. But now that I have moved to IQI Global, I do specifically focus on new developments. So new projects, new properties. If you see an up and coming project, most likely we are selling that product. Okay. I have 5 years experience in the property industry. The first year was as a property journalist, and so from there I met a lot of developers, investors, and I was very inspired. So after that I joined an agency, Zarin Properties, for 4 years, 3 years and a half, and I recently changed to IQI last week. Yeah, so I'm doing training right now. It's my break. So in between breaks, I'm talking to you. And I will try to make this as short and sweet as possible. Okay. For more info, if I'm not clear, do also send questions to my page and follow me on my page as well. Okay, so what am I going to talk about? I am going to talk about House Hunting 101. So if you guys don't mind, do share with me in the comments whether you guys are looking to buy. And if you are looking to buy, are you looking for investment or are you looking for own stay? Just type in the comments, own stay or investment, own stay or an investment. Because I'm sure you joined because you want to buy, right? And a topic like House Hunting 101 is most likely for those that are thinking of purchasing. So it's either you're purchasing today, either you're purchasing in 5 years, it doesn't matter. Own stay, but thank you. One person says own stay. Ada lagi tak? You all nak beli untuk apa? Own stay juga. Okay, that's nice. Then it sort of tallies with the properties that I've been selling in the past 3 years have mostly been for own stay. I think because of the economy as well lah. Kimberly is looking for investment. Priyanka buying for own stay. Okay, investment, great. So don't worry, I'll be talking about both sections. I'll be talking about what you should look for both own stay and investment. And some people actually want to buy either for own stay or own stay and investment. So for example, if you buy a property, usually new properties you akan beli, and they will only be ready by like 4 years time, 3 years time, right? So in 3 years time you don't know what's going to happen. So your process of thinking of the buying starts now, and you think, okay lah, maybe in 5 years I might want to stay there, but I might also want to rent. So this I try to cater my thought to all your needs. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 things. The 3 main pillars of House Hunting 101. Number 1, finances. Okay. If you're writing this down in your notebook, make sure there's a big gap sebab dia banyak. So finances, and then we have research, and then we have the actual house hunting. Okay, so if you tulis besar, you leave a bigger space for you to write down. These are my notes. I tulis cinchat. Finances, research, and the process of buying itself. Okay, so number 1, let's go. Finances. You have decided, okay, I want to buy a property as an investment, or I want to buy a property for my own stay, right? What you have to do first is, number 1, set a goal, right? What do you think you can afford? Alright, I'll tell you about the calculations later, but basically, if let's say, for example, someone asked me yesterday, okay, if I want to buy in 5 years time, how much money should I save? Is 100,000 enough? You cannot ask me how much is enough because I don't know what's your budget. Okay, if you're buying something that's 100, if you're buying something and your savings is 100,000, you can get a property that's 800 or 900k. Alright, so that's why it's very general for me to say, but you yourself write down right now. Okay, what is my goal? property that I want is what, 300,000 or 500,000, right? From that goal, let's say you take 500,000, put down 15% equals your savings. What you need to save up is 15%. So that is your 10% down payment, and the 5% is your miscellaneous payments. So legal fees, loan legal fees, SPA legal fees, MOT, and all the necessary payments that need to be done, valuation, etc. 15% is your minimum, is what I propose for you to save up. Okay, I suggest that you all do it, even though you're buying a new property, and new properties have a lot of rebates, right? And sometimes you say, but Natasha, new property kan booking only 100, and then I only need to pay for like a few things like MOT, so I only have to spend 15,000. Why you want me to save up 15%? Because it's better for you to save up and be safe in case you kata, I tak jadilah beli new development, I nak beli sub-sale. Then you already have that money in hand. If let's say you don't want to use that money, then what I suggest is you dump in that money into your mortgage, or you dump that into another investment if you have extra cash, right? Alright, and then once you have that goal in mind, and once you have the savings target that you want, calculate your finances for the trajectory, right? So if you are buying sub-sale is a shorter process, right? Because the property is physical. You boleh beli sekarang, you boleh dapat in 3 to 6 months, kan? So in 3 to 6 months, how much is your finances? Monthly, how much are you paying the bank? No, it's just a top. I bukan pakai kaftan tau. Oh my god, malunya. Baju. I pakai seluar jeans today. So you get that financial planning going on, and you figure out what can you afford, what can't you afford. Okay, do not spend beyond your means. Any investment also, jangan pergi melampaui your budget. Okay, once you have that, what Bank Negara has suggested is that from your monthly gaji or your monthly income, spend 35% on your mortgage. Okay, so 35% of your gaji should go to your mortgage, and that's why it's important for you to plan. So let's say your gaji is I cannot calculate now, I tak ada ni. But basically 35% is for your mortgage, and the debt service ratio should be a maximum of 70%. Okay, once you have all that, you've planned, you know, okay, I want to spend monthly 2,500 for my property, that is 35% of my gaji, or if it's a bit more and you can handle it, that's not a problem either. Now what you have to do after that, you do a pre-loan eligibility check. What is that? That is when you put in your details. Either you give it to me, I hantar dekat my mortgage broker, or you can go to iProperty. I think ada this thing called Loan Care, and Loan Care basically shows you your CRIS report, and it will tell you what's the maximum you can pinjam, what's the maximum you can borrow from the bank. Okay, so you akan bagi your IC, dia akan check dalam CRIS, they will see, okay, you are a good paymaster or not. What's the quality of you as a paymaster? Paymaster tu apa? Your repayments for your commitments. Commitment tak termasuk bil telefon, tak termasuk bil air semua. It's all the commitments that you are paying back to banks or pinjaman like PTPTN. Okay, this is because banks need to know you can repay and you mampu bayar balik. So okay, if I nak bagi you pinjam duit, if you're out of a job, I'll be like, why should I lend you money if I know you can't pay me back? So banks are also similar. Banks will look at you and say, okay lah, she has a PTPTN loan, she's been paying on time every year, every month before the first dah masuk duit. Okay, this is a good client. Okay, so that's why it's important to be a good paymaster, and that's why it's important to have hutang. Alright, that is the next thing that you need to do. You have to have hutang before you buy a property. If you don't have any form of repayment, the banks cannot see, and you are not really a good target market for them. So it's not always good to not have hutang at all. And I suggest, if you want something that's short term, you can take something like a credit card, use for 6 to 10 months, pay your bills with it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be used for good as well. There are cashbacks and rebates and things like that, right? So after you've done your eligibility check, after you've done your you dah check semua, you dah dapatkan hutang, now you actually have to save up. Okay, right now, I know I mampu bayar 2,500 a month. My goal is a 500,000 ringgit property, so I need to save 50,000. 10% down payment plus 5% is 25,000. You have to save within 75,000 for your 500,000 ringgit property. This is for subsale. For new development, if you rasa betul-betul I don't want to take out too much from my EPF account dua for your down payment, then I think I'll just buy a new development because the entry level is lower, right? Also have a goal and look at properties. Usually your down payment is maximum should be about 3-5% macam tu lah. That's for new properties lah, because a lot of developers are giving rebates right now because the market is so soft. So you should take advantage of that situation. Okay, so that is for your finances. If you have any questions about finances, do put them in the question box. So firstly, set a goal, set a target. Berapa rumah yang you nak beli? Secondly, calculate your finances for the next 3 to 5 years. Can I afford this with the maintenance fees, cukai pintu, cukai tanah, repairs, repainting, if it's a subsale, do I have to do anything up, do I have to renovate and things like that? Put that into your financial planning. Third, make sure that it is 35% gaji you, 35% monthly goes to the mortgage repayment, right? You can go higher, of course, but make sure your other commitments are lower. So your hutang should only be 70% of your gaji. So you have 30% to survive on. But to me, I rasa it's a bit tight to only have 30% to survive. So it's really up to you. But banks will take up to 70% of your debt service ratio. After that, do a pre-loan eligibility check. Make sure you ada hutang dengan bank or credit card or car or PTPTN. And then last kali, baru you save up the money and start. Okay, I'm doing this. I am going to save up. I'm going to buy a property. Done. Finances. Second step, research. Okay. I think a lot of people take advantage of this situation when they say, I don't need to do my due diligence. I tak payah research because I already contacted an agent and my agent will do that for me. No, agent will help you once you decide what you want to buy. I can help you once I know where you want to buy, what you want to buy for, own stay or investment, location, budget, bedrooms, right? I cannot decide for you, you should stay in Nilai because I think it's a nice place, right? I cannot decide that for you. So you need to do your research. The first question you guys already answered just now, is it for own stay or investment? That is the most important thing before you embark on your property journey. Why? Because for own stay, there are different reasons why you should buy there. And for investment, there are different reasons and different target markets that you need to focus on, right? Let's go deeper. Let's narrow down, because the more you narrow down, the easier it is for you to get your perfect property. It's easier if you have an agent, it's easier for the agent and negotiator to find that property for you. Okay? Kalau tak, you drag the process, it becomes really long and you end up being frustrated. And I think a lot of clients end up macam, tak nak lah beli Natasha, I penat lah, right? So you need to do your research, you need to find out a lot of things before you decide to settle down. Remember, a mortgage is a 35-year commitment. For those yang muda sikit, kalau you tua sikit, your mortgage is about a 30-year commitment. So make sure you make the best decision before you make that purchase. Okay? Alright, so Those of you who answered own stay just now, if you're buying for own stay, what do you need to look for? These are the main criterias that I can list down. Okay, number one, location. What location do you what do you want to be close to, right? That's the first. Do you want to be closer to work? Do you want to be closer to your parents' home? Or do you want a location that has a good township, has good master planning? Okay, some people, they look at the township first before they look at the surrounding. Some people, oh, I dah biasa duduk Subang, so I don't want to move out of here. I want to stay in Subang. So you have that down already. If you're used to an area, then you know, oh, okay, I know everything, where everything is. I don't want to move, right? So location, number one. Number two, the amenities. If you're buying something that's strata title, apartment, or if you're buying landed strata, what are the amenities that you want? Do you want a swimming pool? Is it okay if you don't have a swimming pool? Gym and all that, will you use it? I'm honestly telling you, I lived in this apartment for 3 years already, and I've only used the swimming pool twice, and I've only used the gym once. So, but I like having it, like, you know, I have the option. I just don't work out. Okay, so if you think that that's not important, then you can get something cheaper. Okay, I tak nak lah, swimming pool is not important to me, so why should I pay extra for something that I won't use, right? So look at amenities as well. Thirdly, we're looking at infrastructure around the area. So if I'm talking about master plan, the township itself, what infrastructures do they have? What basic things do you need that is within that area? Okay, so I'm giving you an example of my location. We chose to stay in Setia Alam because number one, it was a good township. Number two, there are many types of schools, which is the next point. International school ada, SMK ada, SJKT ada, SJKC ada, private Chinese school ada. Okay, so because for own stay, you're thinking of the future. You kahwin ke, you tak kahwin ke, you ada anak ke, you tak ada anak ke, you still want that option, right? You have to make sure that because this is a 35-year commitment with the bank, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Betul tak? So just take this into consideration. If you end up, oh, tak nak lah kahwin, or tak nak lah anak, then it's okay, as long as you have, you know, those amenities or those schools and those infrastructure as an option. Because in the future, if you want to sell, there's a higher value for those who want to send their children to these schools. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifthly, we're talking about access. What do I mean by access? Accessibility refers to highways and how you get in and out of your location, right? Why is that important? Because when you live in an area that you are not used to, right? So for those of you who are choosing based on budget, those of you who are choosing based on just that specific location or brand, you need to know, is it going to be jammed in the morning? What is your work commute going to be like? So for the next many years that you are working for, will you be stuck in a 1 hour jam, you know, before you decide to buy? I think you definitely should figure out if that's going to be an issue for you. Okay, if for now, katakan you buy a property, okay, I think there will be good market value in an area like Puncak Alam, right? Let me just leave this meeting. If you find, okay, I think Puncak Alam has a good quality to it, and the LRT does pass towards the back of Setia Alam and Klang, so that's good, and the Dash Highway will come up. That's great as well. So you can look for forward planning for the area. If it's not up now, that's also great, because then you have the chance for your property to appreciate in value, right? So it may not be something that's easy to handle right now, but it can be good for you in the future, right? And that's how most investments start. You start slow, and maybe you have to wait for 10 years baru ada highway lain, baru ada LRT, MRT. But eventually when the LRT and MRT dah naik, you know, if you look at areas like Kota Damansara, before was, you know, unheard of, and now it's like this whole hub, and everything is there, and prices have increased so much. So you can look at future accessibility, future public transportation as well. So that's the sixth point, public transportation. Okay, so that is for own stay. Own stay is more catered towards individual, what you like, what you don't like, what your children will do, what your children won't do. That's on own stay. For investment, what should you look at? You can look at, so basically what I suggest is having an investment that's close to you, so that if anything happens, it's not too difficult for you to go there. Or if you need to send stuff, you want to send, I think I have a lot of furniture here that I need to put in because the future tenant minta partly furnished. You can send it, it's not far, it won't be a high cost to you. Or in the middle of the night, you think, alamak, pipe bocor, I need to go and see my tenant. The drive is not too far for you to reach that destination, unless you hire an agent, right? So this is basically for those yang tak nak hire agents to do so lah. But even then, I do suggest that you get something that is close, right? Number 2, who do you want to target? Okay, so if you target young professionals, if you target young families, then you have to see, okay, what's the budget and what's the target that they are renting at. What do people with 2 children or one child, how much do they rent, how many rooms do they need? Okay, if a family has 3 children and then got husband and wife, they won't rent your 1-bedroom apartment, they won't rent your loft. So you need to think about who do I want to target. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of mine. I bought a studio. No, it's not a studio. It's a 1-bedroom apartment because there was masa in Bandar Sarjana Putra, and I heard they were moving their whole campus to Sarjana Putra. I bought that property in mind to rent it out to students. So I memang nak rent out to students. I don't furnish it. I decided, okay, you take whatever is in the house, which is not much, and you can rent, it's not too high rental as well, so it's just enough for students. I understand the student budget and how it goes, so you furnish it according to your budget, you furnish it according to your target market. You cannot put a simple 100 ringgit kitchen cabinet if you're targeting expats. You know what I mean? Of course that's stretching it, but you get what I mean, right? Yeah. So that's the second point for investment. Target your tenants. Thirdly, like I mentioned just now, look for an anchor. What is an anchor? An anchor is what will bring people to your investment. Okay? Number 1, anchors can be schools, can be universities, can be hospitals, can be, what other anchors can be? Public transport is kind of an anchor as well, because from there they can travel outside of that area. If there's no international school in the area, people will travel outside using the public transport. So look for anchors that may match your target market. Okay, so that's for investment. Once you have all that, you did your research, okay, this is what I want, this is what I buy, this is who I'm going to target, and then you see, okay, I want to target young professionals, and I think young professionals may only spend up to 1,000 or 1,500, right? So buy something that's within that range, 400,000 and below, or maybe you can buy a studio apartment. A lot of people ask me, Natasha, macam mana like who's going to live in a studio apartment? A lot of people live in studio apartments. If you look at Empire Damansara, a lot of people are renting the studio units yang 400 square foot, 450 square feet tu. There are a lot of people who are renting the lofts. If you see, a lot of people are renting in Empire Damansara, and it looks so cool and it's so cute, right? So there are people who are renting in these places. There is a demand, so don't worry. Also because it's close to the MRT, Mutiara Damansara MRT station, right? So yeah, people do that, and I think now it's mostly because of the economy and because a lot of rentals have reduced, right? So the budget is between like 1,500 and below. I'm just telling you lah. It's just extra information. Okay, once you've done all that, right? If you're a first-time home buyer, I'm assuming you are because you are watching a crazy lady talking about house hunting 101, you probably can apply for first-time home buyer schemes, right? The ones that I know because I've not done this in a while. The ones that I know have been cancelled, but there's one that I saw just now. I think scheme Rumah Pertamaku, and I think that one applies to properties below 300,000 ringgit for those who have a minimum salary of 3,000 ringgit to 5,000, if I'm not mistaken. So check out housing schemes, check out Rumah WIP, Rumah Selangorku kalau still ada lagi, I think ada lagi, and all these Prima and all that, because you do get affordable prices. Okay, when I say affordable prices, it doesn't necessarily mean that the quality is low. It is subsidized by the government, right? So you get good quality properties for a cheaper price. I'll give you an example. Okay, the unit that we live in is by SP Setia, and every time developer wants to develop a piece of land, the previous government has said, if you want to develop here, boleh, but you have to have quota for affordable housing. So what they did is, our property is standard pricing, so about it used to be sold at 200 plus, and now it's like 300 plus already. So this one ranges from 300 to 400,000, and then at the back, what they did is they are selling Rumah Selangorku for 200 plus thousand. And then lagi satu below, for those gaji below 3,000, the houses are about 100,000 ringgit, right? The quality is similar. If you take a look, the quality is similar. The difference is they probably don't have amenities like swimming pool. Parking may not be as efficient, but you get a 3-bedroom unit, 850 square feet for 240,000, which is like 1,000 ringgit a month, right? And that helps those who are looking for their first home. But I think these are sold out. Just do your research and look at Prima, Rumah WIP, Rumah Selangorku, etc. Okay, so we're done with research. Okay, let's do a recap. Research we have for own stay or investment. For own stay, your criteria should be location, amenities, infrastructure, schools, accessibility, and public transport. For investment, you look at anchor, target tenants, and then match that with the budget or market value of the area. Okay, so now we're moving on to the process itself. Okay, how to start house hunting, right? So you've done your research. Okay, Natasha, I nak beli rumah dekat Damansara Perdana. I really like the area. I think I can afford something that's about 500,000, but I want 3 bedrooms, right? Very specific, very good. The more specific you are, the better, right? Okay, this is my advice. If you are a buyer, get an agent or a negotiator to do the work for you. Call them, tell them, okay, I need to view 5 houses. Can you give me 5 options? I nak tengok 5 rumah, right? Because as a buyer in Malaysia, you don't pay the agents or negotiators any fees. Once the deal is successfully transacted, baru the owner pays us. So you untung sebenarnya, right? We do everything from viewings to inspections to viewings to house loan application to contacting the lawyer and so many things. Senang hidup you. Okay, so I'm going to assume you're calling an agent. You're going to call me, right? So you call me, we do a few viewings, and you say, okay, I want to look at 3 properties in Damansara Perdana, right? 3 bedrooms, 500,000. We go, we look, we see, and you're happy with one. One really spoke to you. One was like the best, had the best view, and it ticked all your personal boxes, right? So you nak cari apa? Oh, I nak unit yang is not facing evening sun. I want a balcony that faces the swimming pool, things like that. You have your own checklist, and you decide, okay, yes, unit number 101, I want that unit. Great. What we do is, you will place a booking with the agent, and the booking money or the check goes to the agency. Never bank in the money to a personal account. So you're not banking into Natasha, you're banking into IQI Global Sendirian Berhad. You're banking into, if it's another agency, Ripfield Sendirian Berhad. Never to Muhammad Amirul. Itu dah salah. You make a booking 2 to 3%, you sign the booking form. With that booking form, you akan minta loan and you have 14 working days to apply for your loan, right? So if you have an agent, negotiator, I will do that for you. I will take the booking form, I will take all your documents, IC, EPF statement, if you kerja sendiri, slip gaji 6 bulan, what else, any other supporting documents that's needed to be presented. I'll pass that to different bankers, different panel of banks, and we will try to get the best rate for you. So within 14 working days, you kena dapatkan a loan, and usually they get back to you within 1 week, right? So contoh, you get your loan approved from Maybank, CIMB, Affin, right? One gives you 3.6, one gives you 3.8, one gives you 4.0. From there pula, there are a few things that you need to see. Is it flexi? Is it semi-flexi? Is there a default rate? I think I need to do another video specifically for this topic because it's very long. Do you want Islamic loan or conventional loan? If I'm non-Muslim, can I take Islamic loan? Can. What are the benefits? Yeah. So yang ni akan termasuk dalam research juga lah. This is what you need to think about beforehand. So but in the 14 days, all you need to do is get the bank loan and sign. Okay. So contoh you dapat 3.6, 3.8 and 4.0. And the best deal is with Maybank. Okay, so you call Maybank, cakap, okay, thank you. I think I will take with you lah. So you handle and you get the loan agreement signed. You get that loan agreement signed, and then you sign your SPA. You sign your SPA within 21 working days or 14 working days. After you're done with that, then you just wait for your VP. You wait for your vacant possession. You're done. The process is very simple. The only part that's long is the deciding what you want and looking for a property that fits you and fits your requirements. Okay, so that's basically a compact version of house hunting, and I'm done in 33 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, do ask me. I got a question yesterday asking about investment. He asked, is there a possibility of getting positive cash flow? Yes, there is. What you do is, my suggestion is you buy properties that are subsale, below market value, or you buy auction properties, and then you can get competitive rental rates. That's my answer to that. But other than that, I think it's a bit difficult because a lot of developments are coming up. It's difficult to get it's difficult to get positive cash flow nowadays because everyone has a property. Everyone wants to rent out. No one wants to rent anymore, right? So that's my advice. Okay, I'm going to just recap in case if you just joined. Hello, welcome. We're done, but it's okay. So first step, is it terbalik for you guys? Tak apalah, you all bayangkan je lah, you nampak. Finances, get your finances in order. Secondly, research. Do as much research as possible. This is a 35-year commitment. You need to make sure you know what you're doing. Jangan beli sebab kawan beli And thirdly, starting your house hunting. Okay, under finances, set a goal, calculate finances, make sure it's 35% from your mortgage and 70% as a whole for all your hutang to the bank, for your debt service ratio. Do a pre-eligibility loan check. Once you're done with that, then make sure you also have hutang. If you are a person that does not have any repayments towards banks, make sure you have at least a credit card. So make sure you have hutang. And then you start saving up for your down payment and your extras, 15% of your purchase price. So what you've set your goal for just now. Second point, research. What do you need to research for? If your own stay or investment, decide. Do I want for own stay? Do I want for investment? Right? Once you've decided, if you buy for own stay, it should be look at location, amenities, infrastructure, school, accessibility, and public transport. For investment, you need to find anchors, which can be hospital, which can be if it's like a business district, that's a good sign as well. Universities, international schools, those are all good anchors, right? And then after that, you look at your target tenants. I want to rent out to expats. I want to rent out to young professionals or young families. And then from there, you match what kind of property you should buy in order for you to get their budgets, right? So if they plan, if you think, okay, young professionals would probably rent up to 2,000, so buy a property that is worth, or monthly you can kind of cover 2,000, and use that as your macam guideline lah, basically. Lastly, if you start house hunting, the process is simple. After you've done all your research, find an agent, make them do the work for you. Call Natasha, buat kerja untuk I. Inspection. I nak tambah sikit. Once you're at the inspection, please look at everything, especially if you're buying sub-sale. Tengok the works that's needed to be done. Has it been renovated before? If it's been renovated, do they have the permission from the local authorities? When was the last time they did renovation? Do I need to do any excessive renovation? What will they be taking? What does the house come with? Is it lock, stock and barrel? Everything comes with the house. Will they be taking their aircon with them? Make sure the agent does an inventory for this, because then the lawyers can say, oh, dalam inventory you cakap you akan jual dengan aircon 5 biji, tapi kenapa hari ni ada 4 biji je? You have to give back the last one, right? So it's important everything goes through the legal system. Make sure everything is black and white, right? Once you've done that, you have a house in hand that you want, buy a booking, sign booking form, and use that booking form to apply for bank loans, etc. Sign the bank loan agreement, and then sign the SPA within 21 working days, and you are a homeowner. VP would be, I think, freehold dalam 3 months for loan to be disbursed, and then for leasehold dia macam lambat sikit because dia kena ada state consent, so it takes like 6 months macam tu, right? Yeah, I'm done. We did a recap, we did everything. Amazon. One day can I explain about rent to own? I'm gonna be honest with you, rent to own ni lebih kurang macam you mark up the loan tau. From what I know, from Maybank, you tak payah bayar down payment, but your monthly repayment to the bank for that property in the first 1 or 2 years is relatively higher than the market value. So if your rental is supposed to be 1,500 in the area, but because you do rent to own, it may go up to 2,000, 2,005 for the first 1 to 2 years, just to cover that down payment that you don't have to pay. My advice is tak tahulah, if you don't mind paying that extra interest, because banks really make a lot of money from that. If you don't mind paying that extra interest, then go for it. But if not, maybe you can look at other options like new developments, etc. Okay, I'm going to go to the questions. For bank loans, do they vary in interest or is it fixed? It varies based on so number one, bank loans interest depends on the overnight policy rate from Bank Negara. So they have a base that's that every bank has to follow, and then the different banks top up their own amount. So bila I kata interest rate is 4%, the base is about 1.5 or 2.0, and then banks add on, okay, our interest rate is 2%, plus with the OPR it becomes 4%, and that OPR changes accordingly. Yeah, so in the last 10 months actually the OPR has reduced 3 times, and now it's really low. I was telling my followers yesterday, when I bought property it was 4.55%. Now you can get as low as 3.6% for interest, so it's a really good time to buy. For bank, different banks pula will have different interest rates. Yeah, so it does vary and it can change. So just because you have 3.6 now doesn't mean that in 5 years it will remain 3.6. It does change based on the OPR. Okay. What happens if the tenant did not pay their rent? How do you go about it? Okay, for me, simple. In my tenancy agreement, I letak dah siap-siap. So I'm a landlord. I have a property and I have a tenant. I can put in tenancy agreement, if you tak bayar within the first if your due date is 1 hari bulan every month, I letak dekat situ, if you pay after the 7th of that month, you have to pay me extra 10% penalty, right? And usually a lot of my tenants, they're very nice lah, they're bagus lah, diorang bayar on time, and they try to avoid the penalty, right? But if diorang tak bayar, usually you have that 2+1 deposit tu kan. That one ikut lah, kalau macam dia tanya you, dia kata okay boleh tak guna deposit tu dulu, I tengah susah, I tak ada duit. When you reach your boiling point, you're like okay dah 2 bulan you tak bayar, please make sure you pay next month or they have to leave lah. Cause takkan you nak bagi orang duduk kat rumah you without paying kan, takut, I mean you never know. And this is outside of the RMO lah, macam this situation is different. But yeah, if tenant does not pay, then it's a bit difficult. That's why it's important to do a profile, look at your tenant profile before you accept them as your tenant. Tanya dia kerja apa, kerja kat mana, kan? Kadang-kadang bukan dia saja tak nak bayar, kadang-kadang kalau kerja kontrak ke apa kan susah. I would like to know if my salary 3,300, can I go for investment? Can. Roughly housing prices should be around how much? Why don't you DM me later, because I need to know what your debt service ratio is now currently. What are your commitments? Because if your debt service ratio is 70%, I need to know sekarang ni you bayar for what? Kereta berapa? PTPTN berapa? Credit card berapa? And then from that balance, I can kind of roughly tell you what can you afford. I'm just sharing, when I had 3,500, I bought a property that was 270k. With and masa tu I ada car loan, and my DSR still had a bit more to take a credit card. So it is very possible, but I need to know what your other commitments are. Naveen, maybe later you can just DM me at Mary Joa Condo, and I'll do a calculation for you. Next question. What will be the process for auction properties instead? Okay, I'm not so terror on auction properties because I've never done a sale for an auction property before, but I do know the pros and cons. What's important for you to buy auction properties is you need to have that 15% down payment and the savings that I told you to save just now. You need that in hand on the day of the auction. So you cannot go and take out EPF for auction properties. Definitely need to have cash in hand. So if you have someone that can maybe lend you the money first, or you borrow your parents' money before you get the SPA and go minta for keluarkan EPF account 2, then that's great. But there are a lot of pros and cons, like you cannot go and see the unit. Sometimes management fees, the last owner tak bayar, and hutang boleh sampai puluh-puluh ribu. So there are a lot of downs to that as well. I'll be making a video on auction properties one of these days. But I'm so sorry if I cannot answer your question. The process is a bit foreign to me. I've been trying to learn as well. If I know, I'll make a video on that. Next question. Hey, sempat kan orang buat iklan dekat sini? How can I find property that can cover the loan installment to generate some passive income? I think you asked this question yesterday, right, John? I answered that just now. What you should do is you should look for sub-sale properties that are below market value so that you can get competitive prices. So let's say the market value around this area now is about 300,000, but you get a property, so 300,000, the rental rate here is about 1,005, right? Get something that's maybe 270k, 250k, something that's really below market value, so that you can put your rental rate the same price as everyone else, but the hal you are paying the bank lesser, right? Or like the second one I said just now was buy an auction property. However, there are big risks when it comes to investments that are, the bigger the returns, the bigger the risks, right? So yeah, those two options are what I suggest. Sebab sekarang susah lah nak dapat ni. Do you foresee housing prices going lower in the near future? Hari-hari orang tanya I. So Priyanka, the housing prices have been down since 3 years ago. I am barely surviving as a real estate negotiator. Prices have been dipping from their market value, not from their base value, yeah. From their market value, prices have been really, have been low because of the economy and because of a lot of desperate owners wanting to let go of their properties, right? So this is the best time to buy because number one, owners are desperate to let go of their properties and a lot of owners want to do so. So you imagine all of us, the majority of like people maybe 5 years ago or 10 to 5 years ago, and they're like, oh, I want to buy a property, I want to invest, and then you end up, alamak, I can't pay for it anymore. And a lot of people are going through the same thing. I have clients who call me, Natasha, I need to sell a house because I need to send my children to university. I kena selamatkan company I. You know, there are a lot of different reasons why people buy property and why they want to liquidate it fast. And that's why right now, because of the economy, a lot of people want to let go. So now is the best time to buy. I feel like even if it dips, I don't know if it will it dip any lower. If you have a recession, probably lah, it will dip lower. But that is dependent on the owner. So I do suggest you try and talk to owners. If you have an agent, you know, we usually get the backstory lah, and we kind of know who to call and what to say to these owners, in order to get you a good deal. Yeah. So I really hope it doesn't go any lower in the future, because it's really bad. But if it does, then good for all of us. We should all buy properties. But this is the lowest that it will go, I feel, personally. And that's it. Those are all the questions I have answered. If you guys have any other question, go to my page, Maryjoel Condo. I have pinned it on the comments section below. I do a lot of I do a lot of informational videos on my IGTV. So if you're new to buying, if you want to know more about different topics, I do post it on IGTV as well as YouTube. The link is in my bio. Follow me, because I do a few live sessions here and there. And yes, consultations are free. And my services as a buyer are free as well, right? So do give me a call, save my contact in your phones, follow me on Instagram, and I will ada lagi lah soalan. I'm so sorry. I'll answer a few more. How much can I dump in mortgage, monthly or no time restrictions? That depends on if you buy a flex, if you ada flexi loan ke tak. You make sure you tanya the mortgage the mortgage punya banker tu, is this flexi, boleh tak I masukkan, and can I get a reducing interest rate? Because tak semua are like that So you can dump as much as you want kalau you nak habiskan awal, but that sometimes there is also a lock-in period. So in the first 3 years you cannot finish paying for your loans. Nanti ada some incurred. If we accept the moratorium, how about the interest rate? Will it be more after? It depends on your bank. 2 banks do not compound their interest, which is OCBC and Citibank, if I'm not mistaken. But in terms of interest rate, because you're not paying for the next 6 months, there will be some interest that is incurred. I suggest you call your bank and you ask them specifically what that process is or how much it will be incurred, right? Like for like for us, the tenure remains, so we don't get an extension of 6 months, but some banks, they bagi extension of 6 months. So then, you know, the interest rate is spread out a bit more. Yang tu you have to ask your respective banks in terms of what their processes are like and what's the interest rate going to be like for the next 6 months. Yeah. I'm so sorry, I tak pandai lah benda ni, tiba-tiba ada banyak ni.